Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is very interesting about time and how atom is connected to that, and Vidura and Maitreya are discussing this whole combining of atoms, how that happens, and then yeah, and then calculation of how much, like this one. This is very irrelevant, so I'm gonna like kind of summarize it again. So he's speaking about also the time in terms of moon cycles. For us, what is 1 month? For the Pitris, it's actually 1 day. So it's very easy to remember because of moon cycles. 1 moon cycle for us is 1 day. For the Pitris, Pitris are the forefathers who are in the other higher planets. It's basically 1 night. Yeah, 1 day and 1 night for one full human month for us. Then 2 months for us. 2 such solar moments, of course. One human. Okay, for demigods, which is planets of gods. So 1 day for us, it's 2 of such solar moments of one whole year. 1 year, basically all the 12 months when sun moves through the zodiac, that's 1 day for the gods. And in calculating that, we live 100 years. That would make, for human years, 360 years of human years is 1 year for the gods to live, demigods. That is like, when we look at our ants or something, they're working hard and running around, but their lifespan is so short. So we can actually compare that to our lifespans are very short in comparison to the demigods, etc. We live much, 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 much longer. So also, Maitreya was speaking to Vidura and saying how not everybody can understand these things. This specialized knowledge, unless somebody is interested in these ancient sciences such as astrology or this kind of mathematics in cosmology, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can understand. Okay, so I think I stopped somewhere here. Yeah. Vidura glanced up curiously at the sun through the branches of the tree. Why do we use the sun's orbit to calculate time, and not that of the moon or other celestial bodies? That also I actually covered. So Vidura is thanking Maitreya and saying, please tell me more about the duration of life on the different planets. I understand that a human month equates to 1 day and night on Pitri planet, where pious ancestors dwell. Also that a human year similarly equals a day and night on the planets of the administrative gods. These planets are destroyed at the end of each day of Brahma's days. What though is the duration of life of sages like Sanaka and Brigu, who inhabit the higher planets, which survive these periodic dissolutions? Maitreya laughed. I inhabit the earth like you. What do I know of the higher planets in the universe? Vidura folded his palms. Oh, spiritually powerful one, you've already explained to me the movements of eternal time, Krishna's powerful form by which he controls the universe. Since you are a self-realized devotee of the Lord, residing within the heart, by His grace you can understand everything about His creation. Maitreya smiled. Vidura had such staunch faith. Closing his eyes, he took a few moments to think before replying. Lifespan of the residents of the highest planets is equal to that of Brahma. To calculate time in these spheres, I will need to speak in terms of the 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali. A full cycle of 4 yugas, which includes transitional periods between them, is equal to 12,000 years of gods. Wow. Kindly explain how you came to that calculation, asked Vidura. In terms of godly years, Satya Yuga is 4,800. Treta Yuga is 3,600. Dwapara Yuga is 2,400. And Kali Yuga, 1,200. In transitional periods before and after each millennium, the Yuga Sandhyas, which last for a few hundred years, are included in this calculation. During these times, one may perform any of the religious duties normally prescribed for a specific yuga, namely meditation, sacrifice, deity worship, and chanting. Vidura was curious as to why the religious duties in each yuga changed. Pause there. Yeah, that's a very interesting question, right? And I've been thinking, what's the relevance of all these numbers, right? One relevance is this. Our life is so short and also insignificant from material calculations. And so it kind of brings about the seriousness that we got like such short time, so utilize it doing things that are really meaningful and purposeful. Another thing is also we'll come back. We'll have to come back, and there's enough material bodies. There's material desires that can drag us into this world, and there's a lot of time in this material world that we can float around. So reading all these years brings a sense of seriousness that don't get lost and don't go down and down and down into tamas. Rise above and make something purposeful of life and become attached to Krishna. Okay, this is very interesting about the yugas, why religious duties in each yuga changes. Would you like to read it?
Vidura was curious too as to why the religious duties in each yuga changed. Maitri explained that the religious duties needed to become progressively simpler and more powerful to be effective as people became ever more degraded. In the Satyuga, people fully maintained the 4 principles of religion: truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, and mercy. However, in each subsequent age, religion gradually decreases by one part as irreligion proportionately increases.
Okay, let's pause there. What does it actually mean? However, in each subsequent age, any comments on that? I'm trying to figure out that.
As people are just degrading, right? The principles of religion, that also is degradation. So that means degradation is directly proportional to the whether the person is able to uphold the principles of religion, which is being very truthful, being clean, being austere, and having the quality of mercy. If that is not there, that means the person is degraded, very close to animalistic life. So as the age is progressing, a human being was supposed to be having all these fantastic qualities, which are the basic principles of religion, that just gets degraded. That's why in Prabhupada always says, right, in Kali Yuga, there's almost like an animalistic kind of living.
Yeah.
They live in the sense of like marriage is not like as Prabhupada predicts. Srimad Bhagavatam also says, right, They don't even get married, but they just stay like, and they keep changing, and so many things. It's just so much irreligion, right?
By one part means
What do you mean by one part?
it says religion gradually decreases by one part as irreligion proportionally increases.
Because every yoga, one of those things are losing. So right now we just have only mercy.
By
In
one
Satya
part
Yuga,
means one of those. Okay, got it. Yeah, yeah.
truthfulness was in Satya Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, then the last one is Kali. Right now we just have a little bit of, I think we have only truthfulness, not even mercy. Sorry. The truthfulness is only the thing which is remaining in Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
also we lose, then there's so much of lies going on. And just imagine, this Yuga is supposed to be truthful.
Actually, even that is hard for me to believe because people are lying all the time.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. The advertisement industry is full of lies only. The
Right,
corporate industry is also lies. That movie industry is also lies. My God, politician thinks what they're doing, big lies. My
right.
God, world propaganda is only big lies. My God, what can I can't even imagine. I think perhaps it's just like one to one in the family or close people. Maybe there we're like being truthful.
I mean, even there, right? Even there is so much of, um, even amongst families. Oh, he lied to me. Oh, she lied to me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
true, true,
common.
true, true,
Even
true.
kids. Who was telling me? Some little
Yeah.
kid is lying all the time, and the mother didn't understand why this kid is lying. And it's a super kid, like super Brahminical, nice kid. But somehow or another, he looks like an angel. He looks like a demigod, this kid. And he looks so like, says nice shlokas and everything, and goes to school and is clever. But of course, he's a kid, right? So all his lies are easily caught. Like you can catch it easily. Say things like, for example, it's learning English, understands very well English, but when you say something that he doesn't want to know or doesn't want to understand, like, I don't understand what you're saying. And I was like, it's so like they're learning to lie, right? And I didn't understand why he has this need to lie. Mm. And then people like,
They have
for
become
example,
smart. No? They have become smart.
yeah, the kids are like, I mean, the kids learn from adults basically or other kids. Mm. Something I'm saying, it's even like, for example, right, small social settings or situations. Let's say somebody has a program and we didn't go, and I'm just saying, usually I mean, I come from the Indian family system, which is all like that, lies. Oh, my son, something came up, I couldn't nobody's gonna say, I don't care about your whatever program and I didn't want to come. Nobody's gonna say that truth. They'll come up with something. Oh, we had some important thing, I couldn't come. And another common lie is, I was not feeling well. It'll even be a lie sometimes. It's even sometimes a lie. Mm. I learned more and more from my husband to not lie. He's like Yudhishthir Maharaj. Never hear him lie. He's like very, very like honesty, truthfulness. He struggles so much in front of, say, for visa or some situations like that. Sometimes he used to struggle because he doesn't want to lie. Lie is like his huge, and I think I'm spoiled a little bit being with him, because I learned like there's no need to lie because it's a burden to carry when you lie. But I've seen devotees, Indian devotees, like small things, stupid, silly things. Mm. It's very hard to just say the truth and say, sorry, I didn't have time to come for your whatever. Or sorry, I forgot to call you. They'll not say, oh, this and that. There's always a sense of justification and escapism. I call that a lie too. So I keep wondering, what does it mean that truthfulness is still there? Probably, in like word, like sometimes we say, I'll do this, I promise. Right? I think that still has value. Like when we give
Correct.
our word, when we promise, like that. It's not that there are no fake words like going around or lies going around, but it just means that when you promise something, people are still doing it. Like I'm thinking, we promise regulative principles, right? We take vows that when we take vows, we do it, and there's still people who do that. Like they promise and they follow their word like that.
Yeah, true.
Maybe not everyone, but even there is some degradation, I suppose. Okay, please continue.
Yeah, and regarding truth, right? What comes to mind, what I heard is even just like your husband, I'm also very attached, like just telling, very attached to just the content of the information, speaking like the truth, and I expect like the other person is also saying very much. I used to, then slowly I understood that content of the truth is also important, and there's something called what is the ultimate influence and the intention of the person. So all those also will play a very major role when something has to be said. That slowly only I'm understanding, like say for example, like a thief, this is what I heard, it's very beautiful, that's why I'm just sharing. Like a thief is like running behind somebody, and then they come and hide in the temple, and the priest knows this person is going to just kill the other person. And he'll say, where did the person come? He just entered. And then you can't just say yes behind the altar, the person will just be killed, right? So you just gotta say no, the person just ran away. So it's a lie, but then you're doing it for what? The intention is to save. So it's not just the content, it's also like what is the intention, what's the end result. So that is
Consequence,
also important.
yeah.
But then what is the ultimate thing is always it'll come back to Krishna, right? So using this, like the intention was very nice, let me lie, like that we should not use it all the time. That's we're just using it as a, what do you call, as a it's like a ruse. Like we cannot just use it just to uphold our lies, that my intention was like this, it would influence like this. So we can't just take cover of these things. But then whenever something really, some of that kind of a value, like situation is happening and the person is doing it, we need to understand that there was a very higher purpose, like that.
Higher
We don't have
purpose,
to say
exactly.
that, yeah.
That's
We don't have to
that's
like condemn them. Like before I would be like, oh my god, you told a lie. But then slowly I'm understanding, look at what the person's intention was, like that. Then slowly I'm understanding that's okay. Just be very difficult for me to be like okay with even such things. So yeah.
Satyam, Priyam, Satyam, right? The truth has to be pleasant truth, and not necessarily, like you said, not preferred. Like, small example. Sometimes if we go for lunch or dinner somewhere and the food is not so good, and then usually now the host will ask, right, how was prasadam? And my husband will not lie. He will say something like, it was interesting or something. I had to teach him that, because initially he would like not want to say, oh, it was very good, Mataji, thank you. He will not say that. If it's not good, he will not say it's good. And then I had to teach him that, okay, you don't want to say the word good, fine. Use a word that is neutral. Use a word like interesting or something that can mean anything, But
yeah.
be like grateful to their efforts,
Yeah.
like that.
And the words that we speak should be truthful, hita, for their beneficial, for the benefit of the other person, pleasing to the other person, like that.
Right.
Yeah, but at the same time, like say for example, like you're a mentor, and then you're like somebody is there. You are doing it for the hita for the person, right? You can tell. But for others, like say superiors or somebody, right? We can't just go tell like that. So it's like so much, it's based on the context, based on the person, based on relations, like that. So much is there. The words that we speak, right?
True. I mean, I often wonder, what's your word worth? I mean, people, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying hypothetical you. It's like, I ask myself, because I have a little bit issue with time. Sometimes I go 5 minutes late, or 1 minute, 2 minutes late. And my husband is very much like time. So when he says, what time will you come back? And if I say 8:15, and if it's 8:16, he's like, what's your word what? You said 8:15, you didn't come. So like, I want to speak of other things when we say, I'll do this by tomorrow, I'll check on this, or whatever, I'll see you tomorrow, and then we don't do it. So I think in this yoga, at least that point, what I feel it's also kind of in our control. Keep to my word as much as The situation allows. It's also probably which of those four is possible. Maybe all others are even much more difficult to keep to. Maybe the truth is something that is in your control. Wow. 4 legs, right? 4 legs of the Dharma bull.
Correct. I liked how you said, at least that is something which is under our control. That's so nice. So nice. Like that.
In one sense, it's something we can take responsibility for. For example, when I'm
What
not
about
able to.
I think we cannot do cleanliness, is it, in this age? To what extent? Like internally we're chanting, externally we are trying. Like say for example, I have a small kid. Sometimes it's not possible. My husband gets freaked out, like it's like that. But I'm doing so many things. Plus, like feeding takes a lot of time because he's still poor and he's very dependent. If I give one spoon only, he will eat like that by himself. He's still not able to do that. Slowly, I'm training him, but I know it's gonna take a while. And he's just so freaked out with cleanliness. I'm like, trying my best, but then it's very hard, very hard.
Yeah,
But I think
especially
that's
with
also
kids
under
and
our
all.
control, right, Mataji?
Exactly, I'm saying that. I mean, especially in family situations with kids, or when we have guests at home, or when I have programs at home, right? People are there all around in the kitchen doing things. Sometimes it's not possible to keep to your standard. It depends on so many other things. And when you have kids visiting home and things, even my husband is quite freaked out about cleanliness and all. And I keep getting chastised often. Don't take that into the kitchen. Don't. Sometimes we have guests that maybe suddenly by accident they take the pot that they eat or drink into the kitchen, accidentally, because we have another place to keep that. So it's very difficult to maintain cleanliness in this age. And then I'm thinking of servants, right? Of course, it's relevant in India. When I grew up, we had a separate place where servants would come. They would not come inside the house. We had outside thing, and then they would keep the pots and things, and the servant will wash, and then my aunt or my grandmother will one more time pour water on all of those pots and things, and then they'll bring it inside. Same thing, right? Like clothes and all, the lady may wash it and keep, and then my aunt or grandmother or my mother will just rinse again and then put it like that. There was this whole because we are brahmanas, and then we have our own cleanliness standards. Still we needed help from servants, but then even there was boundary, right? Nowadays it's like you have to let the maid inside the kitchen, right? It's like it's very hard. It's very hard, and I don't know, like she comes in the boat, and she comes from, I don't know what she has touched, where she's been, right? It's freaky, right? It's a little bit scary. We may try so careful, like I keep all my pujari clothes and all in the side, but I don't like that to be with other things, I only once wearing and all that. But still, I don't know. My maid touches them, and then who knows what she has touched, right? I don't like. I don't. If I eat in it, then I have to wash it. But then I let her touch my clothes. So sometimes it's like it's very difficult to keep to the level of cleanliness that we want. And even if we can, if you're going to somebody else's house, and if you say I will eat only in a clean situation, how do you know how clean they are? How do you know their standards? Or even in temples, we were in some temple this time, some kitchen. I got like first we went there to eat. I saw the kitchen and I told my husband, please let's go somewhere else. It was so dirty. So sometimes even kitchens of temple kitchens can be very dirty and difficult to accept the standards. So like that, I think cleanliness is not in our control, whether it's our own home or whether it's other people's homes, or even, I mean, temples are the most cleanest as I know. It's on temples. Even Indian system of cleanliness, there's big difference between hygiene and cleanliness, like purity and cleanliness. These are two different things. Like in the Madhva thing, they wear wet clothes and do puja. That's called madi. But then if you go in America in winter time, how you can go wet clothes and go into the altar to do puja? It's impossible. Or somewhere in Antarctica or something. So there are You can't follow those
You know,
rules, right?
fantastic, Natalie, fantastic. When you said about that wet clothes, no, I just remembered that in Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, right, when Shabri will be waiting in the forest because the Guru would have told her, right, like Ram will come, Ram and Lakshman, he'll say both the brothers will come. You have to serve them. For that reason, I'm leaving you here and we will be going back. Okay, we'll be going back to God and you stay. You serve them and then you will come and join us. So for that reason, she's staying and she doesn't know when they'll come, but she knows that they might come in. Every day she'll think they'll come tomorrow, like that. So she'll keep everything clean and she'll continue to do her services, right? And then it says that in Valmiki Ramayana, it says that all those Gurujan, right, who will be there, who her Guru and all the others who will be like serving the Guru, they all when they leave, right, they would have left their clothes hanging on the trees and their garlands still whatever they would have worn, they would have left it before they ascend and go back to the spiritual world. For many years she'll be waiting for, I don't know the exact number of years, but so many years she'll be waiting, thinking that Ram Lakshman will come. But every single day, right, those clothes will still continue to be wet even though they're like hanging on the trees. And those garlands that they will be wearing, they will not wilt, they will still be fresh because the purity of the person that who's wearing those garlands will continue to be ever fresh. So the altar in which, the place where the Guru sits, those garlands will always be there. So every day in the morning she's getting up, she's seeing that fresh garland, she's seeing their clothes wet. So it's like the wet clothes, it says in Valmiki Ramayana, and it's very, very pure. Wet clothes is so what exactly what you're saying that comes over there. And then, of course, Ram Lakshman come. Shabri will serve them nicely, and then she'll go back. See the difference. That this question I was asking, that this happened during the Gitanagri retreat that my Guru Maharaj was conducting. See, for Bharat Maharaj case, right? They're in the forest, and sorry, he's in the forest alone. He will leave off everything, and then he'll come to the forest, and he's trying to continue his spiritual journey, right? And then he'll have a fall down. But Shabdi is also alone. She does not have anybody, but she doesn't, because she knows her Guru has told that she will meet the Lord. So that words of the Guru will come true. Plus every day she doesn't feel that the Guru is not there, or those Guru, all those servants who are like serving the Guru is not there, because she's seeing those wet clothes, she's seeing those garlands, the presence of Guru in that place where she continues to wait for the lordships, right? Ram and Lakshman, it's always there. So that's the difference between Bharat Maharaj falling down, being alone without any association, getting attached to the deer, and here there is Shabri. She's also alone, but because of the presence of those paraphernalia of her Guru, which is just amazing, right? I was like really, yeah, I was really really touched when it says like many, many years. Just imagine what should be the purity of these great souls. Their clothes are always wet every single day, I believe, and that is like hanging on the tree. Usually the wind will come and dry, right? It will not dry their clothes. Yeah. You just reminded me of that.
Yeah, that's the purity, exactly. But sometimes in India, they focus so much on purity that they forget the hygiene part or the cleanliness part. Like if you go into like some old traditional temples, hey, don't touch this, don't touch that. They'll not even offer garland made from threads. They will offer only with like leaves. What do you call that? Like they don't make it with thread because it's cloth and it's contaminated. They make it with tree barks, like the thin ones. They make flowers with thing with that. But then if you see the temple itself will not be clean. There'll be cockroaches, and then milk and yogurt thing will be spilled. And like it's not so much about cleanliness. It's more about the purity. And so to kind of bring those two to the balance, Prabhupada did a great job actually.
What's important? Purity is important or cleanliness is important? Prabhupada says cleanliness is next to godliness, right? And purity is the fourth. So like both Prabhupada was emphasizing, right, Pataji?
Yeah, that's a balance between the two.
We should strive for both, right? We should strive for both.
Yeah. But again, it's hard, no? In Kali Yuga, things can be difficult. So.
Yeah, at least like in our home altar, at least in our house. Oh my God, with small kids, it's so hard.
Yeah.
It is so hard. Yeah. I struggle.
Like, because of the family, whatever, the purity part, I'm a little bit attached to it, right? But then the cleanliness part, I'm a little negligent. But my husband, no, he comes from Italy, comes from, the background is a little bit different. But of course, he had a lot of training with my Guru Maharaj personally. So he's more like, he's chastising me often about cleanliness. He's like, you're doing all this and this, and you're very careful. You pluck the flowers only when you are clean, and you're chanting only when you're clean, and all these things. But then, you haven't cleaned the altar properly. See, behind there's dust, and like he gives importance also to the cleanliness part. Not just when you do. Sometimes I'm giving too much focus to, before I eat or drink, I have to do things in the altar, so I rush and then I may not keep it clean. And then he's like, come on, this is more important, clean it.
Yeah. God,
So,
today I got it nicely from my husband. Maha cleanup was happening in our house.
before the Maha cleanup or during it you got it?
Before that.
Before. I can relate. Today I am going to do Maha cleaning in my altar today.
I wasn't well yesterday, so that's like every time when I'm unwell, you'll be like, you'll pick on me. But what about the other days? I mean, he knows other days I was doing other things, so many other things. Sevana. So just when I'm sick and I'm sitting, then he gets triggered. Oh, we were sitting, and I'm like, oh, come on.
My uncle is like that. I'm remembering. My poor aunt, she had to learn all those.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes we have to be practical, right? We have to be balanced. Like I said, I'm more enthusiastic. Oh, pluck flowers, make garlands and all. And my husband will be chastising me. Is Krishna happy with all those garlands you put on him, or he wants the altar clean? I'm like, I don't know. Because if I
both,
pay
right?
attention to, huh?
Right, flowers also, he'll be very happy, right? With the mood that
I
you're
don't know. I
plucking.
feel like it's not so dirty in the sense, okay, some dust may be there, but if the dust is not on Krishna or something, it's just in the side little bit. And I think he'll enjoy fragrant garlands on him in the same time instead of cleaning. And sometimes, anyway, it's my justification arguments. I mean, if I keep the altar spick and span and I don't make garlands or I don't bring many flowers, I feel bad. I feel like dry like that. So I want to do those things which are, pleasant and nice. And he's like, no, you have to keep the altar clean. But he won't clean the altar. I have to. Yeah, this is a very interesting point about cleanliness and purity. And how it changes, right? In each yuga, the religious duties change because even austerity, right? What kind of austerity? I was just thinking previously on all bullock carts, right? They would ride bullock carts, which means they have to take care of the bull or horse, care of the horse, and they're living entities, right? You have to feed them, you have to be very careful about it, and you have to make those carts on your own, and then there's so much effort to move it. Then you would get to go from one place to another. But nowadays, you just call Ola or Uber and then you just go, right? Or you take your own car and it gets broken, you trash it, you buy another car, right? Even the austerity part, I was just thinking, not even religious austerity, even materially, life used to be much more hard work previously. Now, you just go to the supermarket, you buy pizza base, you buy the atta, the flour, right? But previously, you had to make it.
Correct.
So
Make it.
there's no like much austerity to be done to survive.
But there's not much time also, no?
Exactly.
Right? I think previously it's like the life was much more simpler. Now it's more complicated. That's also there.
Exactly.
The,
That's so
the
true.
occupation is also so complicated, right? The crazy occupations that we are all having in this
Yeah.
time is so different. because this stupid, crazy occupation, we're not having much time to do all these natural things. As a Prabhupada always said, farming and all that, that's so much more natural, like how Krishna is living in Goloka with all the cows, Gitanagri, or like, your Mayapur Dham or Vrindavan. They're like very much, very close to nature. They're leading a simplistic life.
Oh, I mean, yesterday I was on train and I was seeing all, as you were saying, different kinds of occupation. People, selling all kinds of things and like so much. Like one guy was coming with a singing. He was singing and asking money, and he was carrying this huge box, like a microphone thing,
Mhm.
big one. And the guy cannot see; he's blind, and
Mhm.
he's carrying this huge thing, going around all day in the train, and jumping in compartments, and trying to sing and get some money. And I was feeling like, wow, like, and somebody coming to do shoe polish, and in our compartment nobody even had shoes. I mean, we are all women. So like I was just thinking, what all occupations people find to try to survive, right? Just to anna tinnoke, bogase needu kudiyoke, to be able to drink and eat and sleep. They're doing so much, so much hard work, so much hard work. But at the same time, as you said, there is no time. Even though facilities, like technology has made supposed to make things simpler, it actually has
Mhm.
complicated our lives even more, actually.
True, true. We just read
And
that in Bhagavatam, right? 2 days ago. I was like blown away.
yeah,
They are just
yeah,
making, humans are making the life complicated unnecessarily.
yeah, unnecessary. And we keep thinking we are advancing and we are, right, we're growing, and we feel like it's an
Mm.
accomplishment. Probably for the demigods, they're just laughing at us and our foolishness. They're looking and saying what these people are doing. If you look, like yesterday, I was on a high, like some floor up there, and I used to watch the people going, like ants, the cars moving, and it felt like, that's how the demigods must look at us and say, what this human being is running around doing, nothing meaningful, nothing purposeful. Where, for what they're running, for making a little money, running after some relationship, right? Eating, mating, sleeping, defending, essentially. Better sleeping, better mating, as the Bhagavatam was saying.
Mhm. Prabhupada
And
called it like the unnecessary necessities of life or something like that. It's unnecessary necessity. It's like an oxymoron over there only. And Prabhupada said that. And about your observation about like standing and seeing those things, Prabhupada said exactly like the same. Same thing as traveling in the flight one day, and then he said, looking through the window, this is how Krishna sees, like the from his view, this is how it is, like all so teeny, and still from when we are on the ground, we are thinking. I mean, at least conditioned soul, they are thinking the whole world revolves around them. But look at from Krishna's view, Prabhupada was sitting from the airplane looking through the window. Look how teeny, how small your big buildings, everything looks so teeny like a matchbox. And you're thinking you've created some big buildings in New York. Like so much proud people feel, right? They're working in this big building and they've created this big top, what do you call it, New York skyscrapers. But then from Krishna's end, it's just like a small matchbox kind of a thing from his elevated thing from was mentioning. Exactly how you said.
matchbox, as Prabhupada say, matchbox, living in a matchbox. And I'm wondering about the mercy part. There is
Hmm.
no mercy, right? There's so much ruthlessness and
Yeah, there's no mercy. That's why killing of animals so much, right? Killing of
uh,
animals, abortions, and then what do you call mother only taking the life of the child. That's like that's if mother can do that, what can you expect from anybody else, right?
mm,
Right?
yeah,
Boss also expecting so much of work, not allowing the person to go back, like to be in their homes with their kids and family, like so many hours extended. Every kind of occupation, I guess, especially after COVID, the way the work culture has become so much more demanding. That also you feel like there's no mercy. They're running behind profits. They're just using everybody under them. Each person in the hierarchy is like kind of suppressing the ones below. Where is the
mm,
mercy? Where
true,
is the
no?
mercy? Yeah. Even like your Ola drivers and all, they're reporting to somebody higher. They're like forcing them to drive many, many more extra hours to just get that whatever they're getting. Every single thing.
Yeah, you're getting the commission off. Yeah, it's true. And as you were saying, there's no mercy even amongst family members. There is everybody's selfish, right? I think I was thinking how why there's absence of mercy. There's also selfishness, like why the boss is treating these people like that, because he has that pressure to perform,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
he doesn't care what's happening under under him. He just wants results, and then ultimately, as you were saying, the unnecessary necessities. If you look at the reason for which they're all harassed like this, for some corporate thing, for some selling some stupid thing, wine, or who knows, meat, or some industry, what they're making, why they're
Mm-hmm.
squeezing people like this. What is the advancement? There is nothing. It's like totally unnecessary. It's not even like, oh, they're trying to give Vedic knowledge to people to save them from material
Exactly.
existence or something, nothing like that. It's
These
just,
big corporates are like just behind their stock prices. They want to keep the investors happy. To keep them happy, they're just simply laying off people. Even though the company is doing extremely great, they're doing great
oh,
profits. Other companies like taking out some people and they're still able to perform. Why you people are still keeping so many? You also decrease, make more profit. For that reason, they're laying off, even though making the company is doing extremely well. It's just such I can't even believe the kind of reasons
actually,
for
the
which they are.
example of no mercy. Exactly.
It's like so ruthless. They're doing so well, but then they're simply taking out just to keep those people who have invested and those investors happy. Otherwise, the stock price will kind of shake. It's like all about like what do you call it? Ruthless survival of the fittest like that. There's so much of I think it's all driven because of this competition, Matri. So much
Yeah,
of competition is there to just stay in the thing. They're ruthless. To stay in the thing, they're like telling lies, and
yeah.
it's all like that.
And
Compete,
and
compete.
traditionally the king,
Hmm.
the king and the setup was different. The occupational duties, it was little. I'm saying it was less degraded. It was much more protected. The king wanted to make sure that the citizens were taken care, right? And the taxes were paid so that the other people can also be taken care. The system was more organic. The system was more human, more natural. Now everything is so artificial. The
Hmm.
necessity for competition is created. They say survival of the fittest. So everything has become so like, there's nobody really caring for people. So they're trying their best to fend for themselves. And you know what is the culture today? The biggest degradation principle is the rich get rich and the poor keep getting poorer.
Yeah, true, true. It's gonna happen much more, I believe, much more rampant in the next couple of years. It's
Yeah,
in India only they're telling the middle class will become like the what do you call the even more lower they'll go. We're thinking like most of us like middle class like that, right, in India. But they say that the rich class is gonna go very high. Middle class will be pushed even more low because of all the it's basically the countries with working with the other countries because of all those policies, right?
mm,
Unfortunately, it's happening. It's happening across the entire world. It's not just our country. It's not just India. It's everywhere.
it's true, right? We keep
Governments are
seeing that.
struggling. Governments are struggling. Yeah, they're just
Mm.
struggling. They're just run by
And
a
and
handful
as
of
you were saying about to
extremely
keep
rich
the
people.
investors happy. So
Huh?
basically, to keep the investors happy, the whole corporate world is running crazy, right?
Yeah,
Then
true.
and then they keep getting rich, and then the people getting normal people have to work so hard to just
Mm.
get their days needs met. And that's not that the rich people are happy, right? They're so sad. And in fact, I've seen when poor people lose money or they have to give money, they don't feel much. But when the rich people lose money, they commit suicide and they go crazy because they cannot handle the fact. They're much more susceptible to failures. They can't handle it. So much competition. As you said, that word competition is scary. Mm.
Rather than I said, some people are so poor that the only thing that they have is their money. That's what it said. True. They just have money, nothing else. And one more thing that I've interestingly noticed is like those who have so much are more stingier than those who don't have, you know. Those who don't have are like more
Exactly.
giving. They're so much more happy.
Exactly. It's so true. And as an astrologer, I've come more and more to that conclusion that good karma is not about wealth, is not about intelligence. It's not about having good karma with relationships. Good karma means having a satisfied mind. Good karma means having a good mind, basically. That's what I've come to this conclusion. And I've seen a lot of poor people, they have much better good karma than rich people. Like so many times I've seen. And very, very smart people, but they don't have good karma. They have evil mind, they have greedy mind, and they're never happy. They're always like torturing others, torturing themselves. It's very interesting, this point. I don't know how it works. Of course, the rich don't spend money, right? That's why they're rich. They keep their own. I've seen rich people can be very miserly, very, very.
Yeah.
So I guess that mercy part is very applicable in this, what you're just saying. Cutthroat competition. No, it's not by chance, it's called cutthroat. Literally.
Literally cut. Yeah, true.
And okay, I'm gonna stop the live.